Hello, everyone. This is Debbie, your roving reporter, and we're doing another interview for Black History Makers Month. Today, with me, I've got a wonderful guest, and you probably know her, and if you don't, you certainly will right now. I want to welcome Chanel McGhee Myers. Welcome, Chanel.
Hi.
It's really glad to have you today, Chanel. Tell us a little bit about yourself, like your folks and things like that.
Okay. Well, my parents from King's Community, uh, Belinda Thomas, Mac McGhee, Cheryl McGhee. Those are my parents.
There's your parents.
Been raised in King's Community since I was young, so this is just coming home.
Well, I'm glad you're welcome home. Well, tell us, what university did you go through? Like high school and then university did you go
Okay.
through?
So high school that I graduated from was Thornridge High School over in Dalton. Yeah, that's what it is. Dalton. And then from there, I got my, what was it, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Fine Arts, BFA from Columbia College in Chicago, where my major was advertising art. So the funny story about that is that originally I just wanted to do something creative. I was thinking fine arts and creative writing, but I was scared. I was like, I won't be able to make any money, that way. So the booming thing was advertising. So I kind of got geared into that. So that was where I got my BFA in is advertising art.
How long have you loved art? What was the defining moment where you said, I love doing this?
There was no defining moment because I've always done it. I've always used art as a mode to to express myself, to escape. So even as a little kid, I would be creating things with paper and boxes and like anything. I would try to sew old socks for to make clothing for my dolls. Like I have been doing art and writing my own stories and illustrating stories since I was little.
That's really cool. I love that. Now you're a teacher. You're a teacher.
I am a teacher,
Tell us about
which
that.
was a surprising journey. I mean, I always thought that I would become a teacher, but I always thought it'd be later on in life once I retired and I had this big grand life, and then I would just come back to give back to the kids and to the community. But that's not quite how it works out. So, after trying to once I graduated from school. What year was that? Oh my goodness, I'm not even gonna tell that because I don't want to say give it away as far as how old I am. But when I graduated from school from Columbia, the industry tanked. So it was a depression, like a I think yeah, what is it?
A recession.
A recession. It was a recession, and it was hard to get out there for a kid who doesn't have any experience in the industry. You will be fighting with people who had years and years of experience for the same position. So I wasn't able to get a job. So a lot of my other fellow students who graduated, my other grads, they were dealing with depression because they couldn't get a job, and it was a hard road. So I did little odds and end job, administrative, and things like that. And then eventually I got into an advertising agency, but I was doing administrative work in an advertising agency. So just being in the industry and seeing how it works, I realized that it was not for me because it kind of like, I felt like it pulled the fun out of it, out of the creativity. It was more about the business side and not as much the just creating to create. So I don't know. I kind of just was doing anything for just to make ends meet. And eventually I had my son. So when I had my son, I was like, oh, I have to figure some stuff out. I got to figure it out. What I'm making is not enough to provide for him and myself. And the time that I was putting in at the job that I was in at the time, it was too much for a single mom with a child. He's in daycare all day from early in the morning to late at night. And I'm driving from downtown Chicago, coming all the way south, like fighting to try 2 hours in traffic. I'm like, this is not for very little money. Like, this is not going to work. And I was just, it was affecting my health. I just didn't feel like a good mother. Um, so I just finally just God was putting in my spirit to go back to school. And I was like, how can I go back to school? I got to pay for it. I have a child to take care of. We got bills, like, how is that going to work, God? I don't understand. And he's like, go back to school. You got to go back to school. So, I wound up leaving. I was like, what am I going to do? And it was education, because I knew that I would have the schedule that would match with me being able to be that person that was there for my son, while his dad, he worked really crazy hours. So at least he can have one parent that was stable, or had that stability for him. So I was like, okay, God, I'm gonna step out on faith. You told me to do it. It was not an easy road, but I did it. And when I got my master's from Chicago State University in art education, it was even more of a honor, more of a victory than my bachelor's. So
congratulations on that. That is, and now that's led you into a journey of teaching young people and exploring their creativity.
Yep.
Now, I'm exploring their creativity. You explore your own. How do you color inside the lines, or are you a out of the box kind of a gal?
I think I'm a little of both. I think it's good to know the basics to be able to color inside of the lines, so that when you know that it's time to let your heart just break outside of that, you'll have a better way, I guess, a better feel. You'll get better results, rather, I guess. So I do a little both, inside of the lines and outside of the lines.
Do you have just an art class, like, say, a lot of schools, you have your litany of all the different classes you have to go to, and art class is one of them? Or did they have to ask to go to art class?
So I started off, funny story, seeing the difference between when I graduated with my bachelor's and not having a job at all, when I graduated from with my master's in art education, had a job already lined up. Before, like, God, I was like, see, when you listen to God, He said, I got you. I got you. Just follow. So I had a job lined up already, and it was in high school. So in high school, they have to take a certain amount of what was it called? Electives, a certain amount of electives to graduate. So there were different art classes that were available. For me, I designed the principal, just from meeting me, let me decide what was the offerings at the school. So hearing me and that I had a background in advertising art, that was not for naught. Just because I didn't go into that field, that was a skill set that could never be lost. Like, it's always something that I can use and something that I can pass on to others. So just hearing me talk, he wanted me to offer advertising art classes to the kids, digital photography, and we did graphic design. So those were the 3 classes that I taught in high school, and those students were able to take those classes and come out with some life skills sets afterwards. So,
what is exciting? What do you go out walking and then just say, oh, I've got to do this? I've either got to take a picture or draw it. I mean, do you see the world differently than most people, you think?
I think so. Not than everybody, because I think there's a lot of people who appreciate nature, appreciate just the beauty in people sometimes, but some people don't. But, I love to, I see art wherever I go and in everything. And it constantly amazes me when God gives me like a creative something or a light or a spark and say, create this. And I'm like, where did this come from? And like, okay. And, and it's great, and it blesses others. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, I see back here, you've got several students here. I'm going to move this just a tinge. And I see your artwork. Why don't you point out your pieces?
Okay. So I just put a couple of pieces. I dibble and dabble in a lot of different things. So as far anything that's creative, I love it. And I'm dabbling in it. And I'm currently still developing my style, still trying to figure out what it is that, I guess, what my niche is. But the things that as far as my art, that I enjoy the most is those that give others joy. So these are actually gifts. These 2 are gifts that I gave to people. So this This painting right here I did after one of my coworkers lost her son. So I called this is called Mother and Son, and I wanted to show she'll love him forever from the moon to the that he is her sun and her moon like forever. So we have the heart that's in the center of them. Even their bodies kind of form hearts, so that she can always keep it. So it was a keepsake for her, and I just wanted to. I have a hard time when people experience loss, not knowing what to say. So since I didn't know what to say, I did it art, and I know she said she loved it. And then this bag right here, I painted was for my sister, and this is it's not them in particular, but it symbolizes a mother and her daughters, and she has two daughters. So that was for my sister Melinda, and those pieces gave others joy, and I just felt really good creating them. So
Those are beautiful pieces. Now, the one that I like also is that one that says Chanel Myers. Go, you wrote in your hand. It's
oh, so you know what? During this whole pandemic, we have had to shift gears from teaching inside of the classroom to teaching outside, teaching from home. And everyone's at home learning, and it was new. There's teachers from various levels of technology. It just so happens that that skill set that I learned from the beginnings came into play and has really helped me. My kids have been thriving in art even though they are at home. But in this particular picture, we tried to do some activities where we built connections since we haven't even seen our kids this year at all. So they wanted to highlight the teachers and give a picture. And I forgot the theme for the picture. It was like, be something. Like you are, be like, so the different teachers would do be bold, be courageous, be whatever. And mine was be creativity was my
I love that.
So that was, so I did a picture for that, and that was put into a post that was put on the school website during that time.
That's awesome. The one that I'm really interested about is this one right there, the first one, the top left. Can you share
So this one right here?
Yes, please.
Okay. So this was actually I can't even take all of the credit for this one. I had a high school student from a nearby high school. She wanted to come into my classroom and help me out in the art because she wants to go into art therapy. So she already knew, she was a senior. She already knew that that's what she wanted to go to school for art therapy. So I asked her in advance, what type of lesson would you want to do? Because I wanted her to not just be helping me out in the classroom, but I wanted her to be able to teach a lesson as well. Because I had that when I was going to school to become an art educator. I had my mentors who just let me shine and gave me some skill set and some practice in that. So she said she wanted to do a perspective drawing. And she wanted to show that at the end of the road is your goal, and then everything on the side, so the buildings of the perspective are the things that lead up to getting to achieving that goal. So this is one of my students, one of I call him my star artist for this project. She did a really amazing job. I don't know if I should say his name, so I won't. But she has graduated already. But she actually won various art contests when she was with me. Just really has flourished. But her thing was graduation. Her goal was to get to graduating. And then these were all of each building represented a different thing towards that success.
So art really has been an important part of your life, an important part of your students' life. And I'm just grateful that we're still able to do art. I know that's starting to get unfunded, but we just praise God that you can find more creative ways to share your art. Would you like to say hello to somebody in particular?
Do I want to say hello? Who do I? So I want to say hello to Mac McGhee and Cheryl McGhee, my loving parents. They are amazing, and they have helped me to even be able to go to school. Just always was supportive of me to just follow my dreams and just setting me up for success in that. I also want to thank and say hello to my husband, Chanel Myers. He's very supportive as well, has just been a very thriving force in my life to always chase after my dreams as well. And my loving son, Dion. He is now a big boy, no longer a baby, but he'll always be my baby. But he's amazing, turned into an amazing young man.
I want to thank you very much for taking the time to join us all today here at King's Community, and we're going to be hopefully sharing all about the World Wide Web. So Chanel Myers, thank you very much, and thank you for joining us on Black History Makers.
Thank you.